Good morning. My project is going about quantifying the influence of factors affecting variation in maturity and quality in golden delicious apple fruit. So pretty much we have fruit quality, which defined by Hewitt was fitness for purpose. And the purpose we want our apples is we want a good appearance and a good eating quality, where the appearance is the first purchase driving trait, where consumers can see a apple with a size, shape and color that is desirable to them. And the eating quality is more pertaining to internal fruit characteristics, where the texture, firmness, and, well, essentially the pleasure of eating the fruit itself gets them to buy the fruit again later. Now, there are factors that affect the variation in those quality parameters, such as climate of the environment, where temperature, especially here in a warm winter area, where that'll have a major effect, and that interacts with the various farming practices, such as orchard design, row orientation, pollination, and thinning, as well as the position of the fruit within that tree, which again, that interacts with the climate, which changes the architecture of the tree. So what was done was there were two regions, and orchards in either, and trees. And what we wanted to see was what the different positions within the tree and how those contribute to the overall variation. So there were categories in the top branch of the tree where there was sun fruit and shade fruit, as well as whether they were borne on spurs or shoots. That happened the same in the bottom fruit. And then a portion of the fruit was stored so that you could compare the quality of the fruit after storage to see if there was a change in overall variation in the pool of fruit. So to break down the variation is you can see each of the parameters that were measured and the relative contribution of each of the factors. So because of limited time, let's just look at something that we all know is that length, where region played the biggest role, and we know in the cooler climate of Ceres, where the one region was. Which one's the laser pointer?
Yeah.
Middle one. Center. Right, the length, and then that's the region where we are aware that we have taller fruit in Ceres. So that wasn't new information, but what we did find was with starch, top and bottom of the tree did have a contribution, and more so in some orchards than others. To just illustrate that, here's a single tree, bottom branch, and top branch, and there's quite a big difference. And in certain orchards there was a 20% maturity difference, which could probably incentivize picking the bottom first and then the top, and perhaps that would be economically feasible. Just here's another example of, once again, a single tree. These two are the bottom branch and that's the top branch. A massive variation in both color, size, and quality of the fruit. So variation between orchards, we can see that the maturity according to starch conversion percentage was quite variable, because not all orchards were harvested at optimal maturity, as close as possible, but the peak was different in various orchards, where some orchards had a more uniform ripeness and others were more spread out. And peel lightness was also more orchard dependent than other factors, and unfortunately that can be sorted and is less of an issue. So when understanding the various components that lead to the variation, for instance, a multiple pick for something that's normally picked once, that could perhaps reduce the variation of the pool of fruit you have, and then you can optimize post-harvest handling. So I'd like to continue with my second season's data perhaps next time, and that would then refine both the positions of the fruit, where instead of just spur and shoot, spur age is taken into account, as well as a flower quality assessment of how the flower quality is variable on the tree during blossom. Laura Alderman is also continuing the project later to see the effect of different rootstocks and their contribution to overall variation of the fruit in an orchard. And then I'd just like to acknowledge the following. Thank you.